Welcome to Knoxville Raceway Inside Line with your host Eric Arnold, presented by Lucas Oil, FVP, Casey's General Store, Speed Sport, Arnold Motor Supply, RacingJunk.com, and Pella Motors.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. I am your host, Eric Arnold, Knoxville Raceway track historian. Thank you for joining us tonight on KBOE 104.9 and KBOEradio.com, your station for racing. This past week at the Knoxville Raceway, the races were rained out again, 2 weeks in a row, and 4 out of the last 6 weeks that Mother Nature has taken the win away from us. So hopefully this coming Saturday night we will have some racing to talk about. Show next week. I'm starting to have withdrawals of seeing some racing myself. I have been able to get out and catch 360 Sprint Invader races in Des Moines last Thursday night, and the week before that, I believe, the Bloomfield Speedway. Saw Jon Agan pick up the win at Bloomfield, and Don Drow Jr. pick up the win last week at the Des Moines, Iowa State Fairgrounds Speedway. A little bit later on the show tonight, we're going to have Jon Agan to talk with us. Jon is leading the 360 driver points at the Knoxville Raceway, as well as the 360 Sprint Invader Series points. So Jon Agan having a really good year, so it'll be good to catch up with Jon here in a little bit. Just reviewing the point standings currently at the Knoxville Raceway. Terry McCarl is the 410-point leader. He is 193 points ahead of second place Justin Henderson, Ian Madsen third, Craig Delansky fourth, Brian Brown fifth, Linton Jeffries sixth. Brian Brown will be not at Knoxville this week. He is planning to go to Ohio to race with the World of Outlaws at the Kings Royal and Eldora Speedway there. So Linton Jeffries should move up to fifth unless Heskin or somebody like that leapfrogs over him there down the order. In the 360 class, Jon Agan is the point leader, as I mentioned. Joe Beaver is second, 33 points behind. Russ Hall is third. Jamie Ball fourth, Nate Van Haften is in fifth. In your 305 class, Matthew Stelzer is the point leader there. Jay Kinder second, Steve Brazil third. All three classes will be competing this Saturday at the Knoxville Raceway. This Saturday is Marion County Fair night, so with the fair kicking off on Friday night with the Hairball concert, which there's an opening act at 7, and I believe Hairball takes the stage at 9 o'clock Friday. That's this Friday, July 11th. And then Saturday, we've got regular weekly racing program, 410, 360, 305 sprint cars. It is also free kids night, so ages 19 and under enter the grandstands for free. Then on Sunday during the fair, we have the Lawnmower Enduro at 7 p.m. Monday night, the 14th, the Outlaw Dirt Carts racing at 6:30 p.m. I'm pretty excited for that event. Tuesday is the Full Blown Rodeo. Wednesday, they have several different miscellaneous events. Kind of highlighted, it looks like on the schedule for me, is the Ugly Pickup Contest and Car Show there on Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, July 17th, a week from tonight, the IMCA Harris Clash for modifieds and sport mods. Always a really big race, probably the biggest modified race here in central Iowa throughout the summer. So it'll be great to see some of our local talent racing there. It always draws in some other competitors from the surrounding states. Usually get 120 cars there in the infield between the modifieds and the sport mods. So the fair will run this Friday through next Thursday the 17th. So if you have some time this next week, check out the Marion County Fair over in Knoxville. Plenty of things to do there starting Friday through Thursday next week. We'll go ahead and take our first break. When we return, we will have Jon Agan on the line. This is Knoxville Raceway Inside Line here on KBOE 104.9 and KBOEradio.com. Welcome back to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. Joining us tonight on the program is 360 driver Jon Agan. Jon, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Eric. It's great to be on.
Yep, yeah, you've been having a pretty good season so far. You're leading the points at Knoxville and with the Sprint Invaders. Let's kind of go back and start at the beginning of your season. The spring, you traveled a little bit to Texas and some other places to race. Won a race down there. Just talk a little bit about kind of your spring season before you got to Knoxville.
Yeah, it started off really well. I mean, you can't ask much more than we look forward to doing as much of that as possible, and it just depends on schedules and what we can do with personal lives and professional lives if we can get away or not. But that's always come racing season, we're chomping at the bit and want to get out and want to get racing. And we've tried to do that the last couple of years. It started off in Beaumont, Texas, with 2-day showdown there. about the middle of March, and yeah, won the first night out with an ASCS regional group down there. But yeah, had a good show with strong competition on a racetrack that wouldn't necessarily be our normal cup of tea, but honestly, we feel anymore that we can make it go good basically anywhere we go. So yeah, we started off with a win in Beaumont, Texas.
And the more laps you get anywhere is going to help you when you get back to Knoxville racing at home. More laps, more experience never hurts you there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it's just like it's no different than shooting a basketball or swinging a golf club or whatever it is. It's the repetition helps, and it helps the confidence, and it shakes the rust off getting out there and getting going. And it's exactly that. It's trying to complete your package as a team and as a racer to be better at all tracks, under all conditions, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, you want to be able to go in, literally anywhere you go. You want to go in there and feel that you're a guy that's going to be in contention, if not a guy or the guy to beat.
And at Knoxville this year, you haven't got a win yet, but you've been knocking on the door. You've been timing really well each week, and looks like you've got 7 top 5s, 8 top 10s out of the first 8 races. So leading the points, still chasing the owner's points, but that's kind of a weird situation this year with Henderson and the Sunbee team, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, we've never faced that way. I mean, there's been years where I guess it's been split because of the driver change or different things like that. But yeah, it's a little bit different there. But regardless, somebody's going to be on top of the driver's points, and we're just glad it's us, and just need to keep working to make sure that it continues to be us. So it's been a good year. I mean, in all honesty, I'll be real truthful. I'm a little bit disappointed in ways. We haven't got to this point of the season in a long time and not had a win or wins at Knoxville. So that's not sitting real well with us. But the consistency's been real good, and that's important. And obviously, that is what's led us to where we're at, leading the points championship standings. We're there to win races. I mean, the championship is huge, and obviously, if we win that's going to be a great feat and something we're going to be extremely proud of. But the fact of the matter is, we go there every night to win races, and you do that enough, you have that success, you get used to that, and then, not saying this in a negative way or a pompous way, but you expect that. I mean, that's what you go to the racetrack to do, is to win races, and we haven't done that there yet, but we hope to change that real soon. Well, we've been hoping to change that every week, but Mother Nature keeps kind of getting in the way. So we've missed some things. I mean, honestly, the first night of the year, I guess we passed for the lead and had a caution right after that, and got put back to where we were, and couldn't get it done on the restart. In the second week, we were running the leader down and lap traffic, but had a yellow and gave him clean track and an open air. He was real good, and just the way the track was early in the season, it was there wasn't a bottom to it. It was kind of one lane around the top, and it was hard to do much with guys, and we slid for the lead on a restart and thought we went across the racetrack pretty good, but couldn't even hardly get to him, just the way the track was, and he got out front and checked out and did a good job, and so we ran second again. So as a whole, we've been right there, and most of the time, we've qualified well. So we came from towards the back of the invert, and pretty much every night we were going forward, and we were going forward a fair amount, and not a whole lot of people were doing that, except for a couple nights where we had one night we had a late caution, and I sealed up a right rear tire, and I think we ran up to second or third that night, and sealed that tire up, and then backed up to about fifth. So that hurt us. That was one of our worst shows, other than a couple weeks ago. I guess we had a real poor night period, and it was our first finish outside of the top 5, and that hit home a little bit, because I had a goal of not having a top 5, not having to finish out of the top 5 in Knoxville in the 360 all year long, except for possibly championship night of 360 Nationals. But as long as that's our last finish outside the top 5, we'll be able to live with that single one. So we'll put that one behind us.
Is there anything you can kind of key on this year that has attributed to the consistency that maybe you haven't had in years past?
I mean, in years past, I think we've been good in a lot of ways. We've just had some things that our qualifying efforts weren't what they needed to be. We've improved upon that, so yeah, we've done some things with our package to make that better. So that's been a big part of it. Usually we raced really well, but we had, we would have some different things. We had some motor things from time to time, usually minor, but yet we had some motor things from time to time that would hold us back. We tore up some race cars. Had some bad racing luck, which it seems like some guys can get through and get through the year being totally clean and not have any of that. But it seemed like there for a couple different years we kept having some of that, and so that hurt us. But the nights that we were fast, I mean, we were really, really fast. The nights that we won, we were real strong, and that's what we've missed this year. I mean, yeah, we've kind of traded some of that for the consistency. We're definitely qualifying better. We've been, real strong in heat races this year at Knoxville, qualifying well. We've won a couple from the back of the invert. We've ran second a couple other times from the back of the invert. So usually, and that's something that's tough to do at Knoxville. Usually heat race-wise, the track is still pretty good, and everybody's fast, and it's a little tough to do. But this year the track has opened up a little bit more, I would say, for our heat races, and we've been really good at that point of the night. We've been missing a little bit of something at the end of the night, and so we've been working on that and chasing some things to try to compensate. And we found the issue. We were able to isolate the issue and found the issue here a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately we haven't been able to be back in competition in Knoxville because of the rain yet to see if we can put it to work.
Talk a little bit about the Sprint Invaders. I guess how many seasons have you been running with them, and you're having a heck of a year with that series as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've never ran all the races. Just tried to pick up what we can of their shows. We'd catch some Burlington shows, we'd catch some Donaldson shows that way. Try to pick up as many as we could. I mean, I appreciate the sanctioning body and what they do and what they offer us. They're the best option for additional racing around our area. It's good people doing it for for the love of the sport and trying to give us as many racing options as we can have. So, yeah, like I said, over the years we've ran definitely a few shows with them for sure, but we've never ran everything. But we're looking to change that this year, and yeah, to this point it's been great. We started the year off with them opening night down in Burlington. Ran fourth down there opening night. Really weren't very good. Was a little disappointed in our efforts that night. Thought we should have been up front and weren't. But it was another top 5 finish. Can't be too disappointed with that. Well, the second night of the year I think was our show at Donaldson, and we've been really good at Donaldson as of late. We have some wins there. Have some real good finishes there. So expected to have a good night down there. Unfortunately, somebody else was in the midst of spinning out, crashing, whatever you want to call it, and they came across the racetrack and got into us really bad and didn't realize how bad it was, and restarted the tail with a with a really messed up race car, and still came back to finish 8th. Ran second at Oskaloosa, I guess. Honestly should have won that race and didn't, but had a decent night. After that we got fairly hot. We got a win at Burlington with them. Had a real strong night down there. Ran a show at Independence, Iowa, and didn't have a very good run. Not as good as we should have. Expected to be up front there that night. Left some cards on the table, we'll put it that way. And I don't know, what did we run? Fourth or fifth there. But then came back strong a couple weeks later and had a real good run at Bloomfield and won another race at Bloomfield. And then this past week had a special at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and it was great to go to the fairgrounds. Appreciate what Tony Morrow did there to bring the Sprint Invaders in, and had a really good night going. Had a real fast race car and passed for the lead a couple times. Passed for the lead on lap 3, I guess it was, and rolled through a great big rut, great big hole we didn't even know was there, and got real fortunate that we didn't crash all by ourselves, because that's how bad the car got sideways and got bouncing, got hopping. So lucky we didn't get upside down, but rebounded from that and took the lead back again. I guess we got past, but then we're going back underneath the leader, hopefully for one last time, and a lap car was spinning out and spun in front of him, and was sat there and could tell that he hadn't, we're going through 1 and 2, and I saw the car stop there. I was free from it, being on the bottom of the racetrack, but saw that the other guy who was still to my outside noticed that he was still carrying quite a bit more speed than I expected him to, so figured he didn't see the lap car yet. So I turned to the bottom of the racetrack to try to give him as much room as possible. because right before I lost vision of him, he was turned totally sideways. So I didn't know if he was coming across the track at us, but just tried to give him as much room as possible, and actually went, underneath what would be the bottom of the racetrack. And there's a little bit of grass cleared out at the bottom of the state fairgrounds, and drove clear as far to the bottom as I could, which was slightly off the racetrack, and ran over something. And it bent a left front wheel and flattened the left front tire, and actually knocked the left front off the bead. So we were restarting the race in the lead with 8 laps to go, and we didn't have a left front tire on it anymore. So it was a little bit interesting. Ran the last 8 laps at the state fairgrounds with a tire on the wheel still, but off the bead, and obviously no air in it. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but felt it out a little bit underneath the yellow, and didn't try to push it too hard. Either had to go pretty hard with it or not at all, because if you slow down too much, it would set that nose down and go hard left really bad. So we restarted up front and thought that, in all honesty, we'll drive it into one as smart as we can. And I thought we were better off to restart up front, because the fast guys up there would get by me. They'd do a good job of getting past me. If I restarted at the rear, I thought we'd still probably be faster than some of those guys in the back, but I wouldn't be able to maneuver the car like I should have, and thought I was more susceptible to an incident restarting at the tail. So we started in our spot up front, and held on and ran the last 8 laps and kept in the top 5, which was good considering, but I think that was another win this year that got away from us, unfortunately. So you just you want to win as many of them as you can. So that race in particular paid a little extra money. With all the talk of changes at the state fairgrounds at the racetrack, sounds like they're going to shorten that place up for next year's racing season, I guess it is. So it was probably the last opportunity to win a sprint car race, a 360 sprint car race on the half mile at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. So that that means quite a bit to me as well. I mean, I'm pretty big on the history of the sport, and appreciate everything from all the people that have got the sport to where it is, and all the great old facilities and everything that way. I mean, I've spent a lot of years going to races and going up and down the road with my dad. I can't complain too much. We've got a fair amount of wins at this point of the season. We're leading points with at one track and one different series. We haven't been hardly out of the top 5 all year long. So, like I said, I can't complain too much.
Yeah, you are having a great year, and pretty cool that you're talking about your dad. He was inducted into the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame here just a few weeks ago. Pretty special night for your family there. Yeah,
it was great. I mean, obviously he means a lot to me. Everything that guided me and helped me do throughout my whole life, and Dad's put a lot of effort into a lot of different things. I mean, he bought an old race car. His first race car was purchased from Ray Lee Goodwin in the fall of '86. We went down to about a 1972 Roger Beck. We still have to this day. It actually was the R&H Farms 40 car that won the 1973 IMCA championship with Thad Dosher, and then won the 1975 Knoxville Nationals with Eddie Levitt. So we still have that car. It's actually in rough roller form right now. It's going to go back and get restored here sometime soon. And so that's why I say I really appreciate that history. But anyway, so yeah, Dad started with that, and then ran a couple races that year and had a crash, and then came back and ran in '88 and '89, and then that was it for his racing. But then he sold out to Lee Nelson and helped Lee Nelson get his start at Knoxville Raceway, and did a lot of things from there. Was very active in the nostalgia group that started Nostalgia at Knoxville, and then obviously spent a lot of years with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. He's been a big ambassador of the sport, big ambassador of Knoxville Raceway.
Looking forward now, the 360 Nationals here come up in a couple of weeks. You finished, I think your best finish last year is 13th. What's kind of your goals going into this year?
Yeah, we need to improve on last year for sure. No, we had a real poor qualifying effort night last year, and that hurt us. We raced pretty well. We're good in the heat race. We were decent our qualifying night. Ran the top 10 our qualifying night, but lost a couple spots at the end, so that hurt us some, and then had to come out of the B on Saturday, but had a pretty strong run on the B. Started 23rd, I guess it was, and ran up to 13th. I think we should have finished even a little bit better than what we did, but still, I think that was a strong run last year considering where we started and that group of cars. So we were happy with that and excited for that. In all honesty, I'm not going to be happy with anything. First and foremost, we better be locked into the A main come Saturday night. There shouldn't be any B main runs or anything that way. So, I'm looking to be locked in for Saturday night's show, and we sure as heck better not be out of the top 10. And I'm looking, I really hope and gonna push to crack a top 5.
Yeah, I think the way your season's going, you can do it for sure. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think so too. We're gonna obviously have to have some real strong runs. We're gonna get the program freshened up a little bit before that, and hopefully have a fresh motor from Ostrich Racing Engines come qualifying night, and that thing's been running pretty darn good all year long. So we'll take that fresh bullet, and hopefully that's enough to get us where we need to be.
Racing's expensive. I'm sure you got a few people you wanna thank and some sponsors to plug while you're here.
Yeah, definitely. We got a great group behind us. A lot of good support. I mean, first and foremost, it starts with DZ Truck Accessories. They've been a good supporter of myself. I'm an employee of the company. I've been here with them about 12 years. Came here straight out of college. They've been very supportive. And the sponsorship form is obviously very important, but it's great, and they're a fantastic company. I mean, Eric, you probably heard me say it, whether it's in Victory Lane or other places. I mean, it's a very strong Iowa company. It's 800 employees right here in Des Moines, Iowa, putting a lot of food on the table for families in the area. They're extremely supportive of their employees. Some other great companies, Terps Automotive, a newer supporter of ours starting last year, actually out of Bassett, Nebraska. They've been a great addition, really allowed us to do some things and add some pieces to the puzzle. Des Moines Bolt Supply out of Des Moines, Iowa. They've been great as well. Dick and Mosh Plastics out of Neshota, Wisconsin, but they also have a location here in Ankeny, Iowa. TCI Transportation Consultants in Urbandale, in the Des Moines area here. We just added a new one last week, DMTB, Des Moines Truck Brokers. They're actually out of Norwalk. So some great companies, very supportive of us. It's all really neat too, because the majority of them are from right in this area. And then we got other good suppliers. Ostrich Racing Engines. Lee Nelson does a great job on our engine program. Mike Schur from Schur Built Suspensions down in Slater, Missouri. And then you get into the product guys. Callie's crankshafts, connecting rods, Winters Performance, KSC, Simpson. And again, there's the list goes on and on. But we got a great group of sponsors, a great group of suppliers. We're just real happy with where things are at, as long as we can continue to finish out the season as we started it, with some more wins, and definitely some wins at Knoxville, and some strong runs come 360 and 410 National time. We'll be happy.
Well, good luck to you at the 360 Nationals and the rest of the season, John. So thanks for being on the show tonight, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
No, sounds great. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks to Jon Agan for joining us on Knoxville Raceway Inside Line tonight. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. Coming up this next Saturday night at the Knoxville Raceway Marion County Fair night. Kids 19 and under get free admission into the grandstands. Remember, your Casey's General Stores receipts of $50 or more bought within this past week is 2 tickets for a $20 discount. Seniors ages 60 and up is a $3 discount. Pella Corporation, Nationwide Insurance, and Farm Bureau members are a $5 discount with company ID shown at the ticket window. Coming up here in just a few weeks, July 31 through August 2nd, the Arnold Motor Supply 360 Nationals. August 3rd on Sunday is the 3rd Annual Capitani Classic. Monday, August 4th is the Front Row Challenge here in Oskaloosa at the Southern Iowa Speedway. August 6th through the 9th is the FVP Knoxville Nationals presented by Casey's General Stores, just 4 weeks away from that event now. In September, you got Monster Jam and the Late Model Nationals. Don't forget about those. Dirt Dreams, the TV show on MAV TV, airs on Thursdays at 11 and 2 o'clock, and then again at 9:30 p.m. So if you haven't watched it yet tonight, it'll be on here shortly in a couple hours at 9:30. Thank you for listening to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line tonight. Make sure to follow the Knoxville Raceway on Twitter at Knoxville Races. Like our Facebook page. You can check us out on Instagram and Pinterest. Lots of good ways to stay connected to the Knoxville Raceway. Also, don't forget about the Check Your Flag program on Tuesday nights. Airs from 7 to 8 o'clock with Jeff Kropp and Tony Paris. That's it for tonight's show. Thank you for joining us.